I'd like to call the board meeting to order. Roll call, please.
President Byrne,
Here.
Trustees Hebda,
Here.
Schultz,
Here.
Marport,
Here.
Cook,
Here.
Williams.
Here.
We have a quorum present. Would everybody please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. It's nice. Nice to see Trustee Hebda here tonight.
Yes.
We don't have, we didn't have a couple of meetings and then you find out somebody had to have something done.
Yeah.
Had to have some biological repairs,
Let's move on. There you go.
Yeah, I'm going, whoa.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to spin off in that direction
we
too
don't
far.
wanna go there.
But anyway, Sydney's amongst the living.
Yeah.
So, with that said, are there any citizens that wish to address the board tonight on anything other than what's on committee of the whole? Because if it's on committee of the whole, you'll get called. No? Okay, all right. Okay, Finance Director, Treasurer Nakren, Comprehensive Annual Financial Report.
In your packet is the management letter and the comprehensive annual financial report. And I also have hard copies there for any who prefer it that way. And we have with us Ron Amen, a partner of the firm Lauterbach and Amen, who's going to kind of give us an overview of his findings. Is that?
Good evening. As Larry said, I'm Ron Amen, one of the partners with Lauterbach and Amen. First, I want to make sure I thank Larry and Nikki. It's a very extensive process to get through an audit, and we appreciate all their cooperation and probably more important, their professionalism towards this entire process, so it's greatly appreciated. First, I want to talk briefly about the management letter that was issued to the board. There are just two comments in the current year management letter. The first one is dealing with some GASBs. It's a Governmental Accounting Standards Board. There are two of them that piggyback together. It's number 67 and 68. 67 was required to be implemented in the current year of April 30th of 15, and then 68 will be the more extensive one that will relate more to the village side, and that one will be implemented April 30th of 16. So next year you'll see the impact of GASB 68 on the village side. The second comment, and it's something standard our firm does across all of our clients, when there is a fund balance or a net position policy that the board has adopted, anytime that the fund structure is out of compliance with that, in April of 14, and then again in the current year of April of 15, the golf course fund is not in compliance with the policy. So the numbers are stated there, and we just want to make sure that the board's aware of that and make sure that going forward it's addressed in some fashion. So. In terms of the comprehensive annual financial report, it's divided into three sections. The first section is your introductory section. It's anything with Roman numerals. The second section starts on page 1 and goes to page 79. That's what we call the financial section of the audit. It's what we opine on. It's where all the numbers come from in the audit process. And then the last and final section is what we call our statistical section, and that goes from page 80 to 113, and that gives a lot of trend information for the last 10 years for the village. In the introductory section, one page to point out is the last page, and it's page 14, and it's the Certificate of Achievement. The Government Finance Officers Association puts on this program. It goes through 3 levels of review. It's the highest and the most prestigious award you can get with your financial report. What they don't do is give you an opinion based on your numbers or your financial health, but what they do is give it through 3 levels of review to make sure that everything that's required is disclosed properly and is in the right format. And so it's a very prestigious award, and the village earned that at April of 14. Once this audit for April of 15 is approved at the board level, then it will be submitted to the program as well to go through the review process. So the village should be very proud to continue to be part of that program. Right behind there in the first pages of the financial section of the audit are your auditor's opinion. It's pages 1 and 2. It's on the Lauterbach and Amen letterhead. All units of government are required by state statute to have an auditor's opinion. Our opinion is clean, unqualified, which is the highest level of opinion you can receive. It's the only opinion you want. And so once again, the village has earned that award. and the clean opinion. From there, I tell all the boards that it's 113 pages, it's a lot of accounting, it's a lot of lingo that I know is overwhelming to people who don't look at it. The Cliff Notes version is pages MD&A 1 through MD&A page 13. So it's the Cliff Notes, it puts stuff in a little different format, it gives us graphs and charts, and it gives management, which is your team, the idea to explain some of the numbers. So if you're going to spend any time in here and not try to get too overwhelmed, spend it in the MD&A section. From there, the couple numbers I want to point out to the board in there is on pages 10 and 11. This is what we call your governmental income statement. So it's your revenues or expenditures across your governmental funds. And for the year ended April 30th of 15, that entire group of funds had a positive increase of $3.4 million in your fund balance. So it was a very positive increase in your governmental funds. And then the last page I point out is that same exercise for what we call your proprietary or your enterprise type funds. You have two of those. Your golf course fund had a decrease of $69,000 in fund balance, and you have an internal service fund that had a positive increase of $115,000. So financially for the year was obviously a very positive increase in your fund balance. So from there, I'll take any questions, either the management letter, the CAFR, or our audit process.
So our AAA bond rating should be intact?
Right. I do get asked that question a lot when I go to board meetings. What I can tell you is that landscape has changed a lot in the last several years. Based on everything I know and what I see and where you're at, I can't imagine it won't change. But what I can tell you is the amount of analysis that the Standards & Poor's and Moody is doing towards all local governments is way more extensive than it was 5 years ago. So as your staff goes through the exercise to get rated, they'll spend a lot more time and have to answer a lot more questions than the past. But based on the positive increases and stuff, I would sit here and tell you I couldn't imagine it won't be impaired. But the landscape in the rating agency is very different today.
So you can answer that with a reasonable degree of certainty?
Correct. That is fair. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm sure that we get scrutinized because of what's going on in Springfield, you know, among other places. Okay. I'll open it up to the board.
I think,
Mayor, if I may, if I can throw Ron a lifeline and answer your question. We did just go through another review with Standard & Poor's, and they did reaffirm our AAA rating. So
Good. It's just nice
There you
to
go.
hear.
it is nice to hear.
In any event,
the
okay.
effective date of that was,
Well, that's for the new issue that's coming up in 2 weeks.
so basically October 15th.
I wanted to give a little more, just a little more of a comment on, Ron referred to pages 10 and 11, Statement of Expenditures and Revenues. And as Ron said, the overall increase was 3.4 million, but it should be noted 3.3 million of that was in the bond construction fund. So that's money that's going to be taken down. The general fund was down about 198,000, but we spent 985,000 pre-refunding bonds that did not have to be paid off into future years. So if we hadn't done that, we would have run a good surplus in that. The tax increment fund was up 467,000. The dispatch center fund was up 170,000, and the motor fuel tax fund was down 327,000 to about 1.86 million. And the general fund accrual balance is about 23.8 million, although its cash and investment balance is, I should know that off, is about 20.9 million as of April 30th.
Okay. Any other comments or questions from the board? You know, once again, we appreciate the effort of staff. We appreciate the frugality, I guess, of us sometimes, you know, to not just say yes to everything. But we also would like to, you know, acknowledge Larry Nakrin because he's retiring in January. And Am I premature? No.
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't premature. I was about 10 pounds, according to my mother. You know, but in any event, Larry is retiring after, is it 30 years?
It'll be 31 years, but there's still a lot of time. I don't think we need to start dwelling on that yet.
Well, I'm taking advantage of the fact that the auditors apparently like something you have done for many moons, and now Nikki, who's going to assume Larry's position in January, you know, will continue in that vein.
Exactly.
I don't have to bring it back as a consultant, do I?
No, absolutely not. And,
Okay.
and I think Nikki's going to take it to a higher trajectory, but
Okay.
I think it's fair to say that, you know, it's been a collective process that's brought us here. And I think a lot of good decisions have been made over the years, and I'm just glad to have been a part of that process.
Okay. All right, Trustee Schultz.
The only real question I have was, and I know we're going to talk about this at a later date, but how far behind is the state with us?
Oh, boy.
Oh.
I mean, on sales tax or anything?
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything and everything.
A big bunch.
Income tax, they've been consistently 2 months behind for months, and probably for over a year. So that hasn't changed.
So we got our last payment on time, even though it was 2 months behind.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the motor fuel tax, I think July, we received a partial payment, August and September, and I think we're due for October, so we're 3-point-something months behind.
Almost 4, okay.
And how much interest do we get?
Close your
Just
eyes,
kidding.
what do you
And the
see?
sales tax?
Oh, sales tax,
Yeah.
they haven't, other than providing data, which they finally got caught up on, they've been sending us the regular receipts as expected so
And that's
far.
important because that's half our revenue stream.
Okay.
Thank you.
Omnibus vote agenda.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, oh, thank you. And the check will be in the mail.
Oh, God. It's just like the state.
Okay. All right, omnibus vote agenda, is there a motion to approve items A through J?
Okay.
Through J?
Through J.
Yes, through J, I'm sorry.
Second.
Motion is second. Comments or questions? If none, roll call.
Trustee Schultz,
Aye.
Marport,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Williams,
Aye.
Hebda.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, unfinished additional business, approval and passage of resolution 2015-152, a resolution granting approval to operate an outdoor dining and seating establishment for Bluefish Sushi Bistro, 700 North Milwaukee Avenue.
Nothing.
There a motion to approve?
So made.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any comments or questions from staff on this one?
No, included in the resolution are 3 conditions that were directed by the village board at the committee of the whole meeting on September 15th. One is that the gates be self-closing and self-latching. Number 2, that all employees servicing these areas, which include waiters, waitresses, and busboys, be BASSET trained. And that the third one is that the tables and chairs be wood. There are photos of that in your packet. And that's all, again, all included in the resolution as conditions.
Okay.
Still 34.
So motion and a second. Under comments or questions, trustee Williams.
They did not change the amount of outdoor seating, correct?
That's correct. There's still 17 tables that serve 34 customers. That was what
It's
was,
still going to extend way out to the landscaping islands, I'll call it.
correct. It's laid out as was represented to you at the last meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's no further comments or questions, roll call.
Trustees Markwart,
No.
Cook,
Aye.
Williams,
No?
Hebda,
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Motion do I need to vote on this one?
President Byrne.
You do.
You got three over there.
No, 3-2.
Oh, it's 3-2, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
No,
got,
it's only on money. After 4.
really?
Oh, so you do have
On
to
something
vote.
other than,
This is the final, but last week
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
just
but-
preliminary.
I thought that was only on expenditures that we had to have before.
Okay, aye. Okay, motion carries. All right. Next is approval and passage of ordinance number 2015-032, an ordinance amending ordinance 2006-57, and ordinance 2006-51, granting approval to amend the final architectural plan and site plan for property commonly known as Port Clinton Place, PUD, located at Route 45 west of Milwaukee Avenue in the village of Vernon Hills, Lake County.
Motion to approve?
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Comments or questions?
Want to describe it for the public?
Well, it's finishing off the TIF district, which is a good thing. Roll call, please.
Aye?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay. Any other items, any new business? I don't know. But in essence, any other new, what do you got?
No, I just,
What's
yeah,
that?
all I want to say with not new business, but what October Fest went, it was actually
amazing.
a very beautiful evening or day. A lot of people, and actually they ran out of food even. So actually hats off to Monica for doing a very good job. And as always, police, thank you. Public Works, thank you. Staff, thank you. It was fantastic. It was crowded. The parking lot was filled from the beginning to the end. So it was fantastic. So great job.
Okay. Go ahead. No, yeah.
Just, I'd like to add to that, even the band was fantastic. I think, Nikki, you were still there, weren't you, for that? It was just a great event. I got there approximately 3:15 in the afternoon, and it was packed already. And it stayed that way all night. It was a beautiful turnout.
Trustee
It's
Cook.
amazing.
Well, I'm dovetailing, I got some feedback from several people. Our magician was really good. I just wanted to point that out. Hunter is quite an amazing young man.
Towards the end, it
Um,
disappeared, though.
Yeah.
The little musician, yes,
That's one of
he
his
was, he
best.
was cute.
No, the other thing, I checked with John Kelmer, because I had a lady ask me earlier in the week about something about animals on the Metra, and she was complaining that there were more people bringing animals on the Metra, and I had John check on it, and Metra's website very clearly states that only service animals are allowed. So if people are running into problems with,
Call Metra.
other pets and stuff on Metra, just give them a call, because that, other than service animals, it's not supposed to be happening, I guess.
Yeah, you might want to raise the question with the conductor on the train to start with.
Right. All aboard.
Okay, is there any other new business or communication? If not, is there a motion to adjourn the board meeting and go into a closed session for personnel
And litigation.
and litigation?
So made.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call.
Trustees Williams,
Aye.
Hebda,
Aye.
Schultz, Markwart,
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, thank you and good night.
Aye.
You want to say something?
No.
now?